to the channel. In today's video, I want to give you guys a list of teams that would be really fun to do a long-term build in Dynasty mode with in College Football 25. And I wanted to specifically give you teams that are fun to build with because of their uniforms, because of their stadiums, because of the overall vibe of the team, and the ability to really enjoy that team being good and the environment that that gives you as you progress that team. Because there are a lot of teams in this game that are lower overall that when you build them up, they don't feel like a top-end team, primarily because they don't have great uniforms, they don't have a very nice stadium, they almost play in like a high school looking like stadium. And in one of our dynasties, we actually compiled a list of teams that would be eligible for users to take within that dynasty because of the overall grade we gave those teams based on the factors that I mentioned before with the stadiums, the uniforms, the pipelines, and all of those things, so that it would actually feel like you're becoming a really good school as you build that team over many years. And so if you find this video to be interesting, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, because I have more teams. In today's video, I'm just going to give you the first handful, and then if you guys like it, we can follow it up with another set of teams. But there are a lot of teams that are actually really fun to build because they have the potential of a great stadium being filled out with a lot of fans, or the potential of some really great uniforms, the potential of some really solid pipelines, and those types of things that would be really satisfying in the long term in Dynasty mode. So the first team that I wanted to give you guys today is going to be Florida International, for multiple reasons. Number one, I personally love these uniforms a lot. I really like the design that they have on the shoulders of the jerseys. I think that's one of the coolest designs, one of the coolest design choices for jerseys within college football, within this game as well. And they have that nice powder blue alternate. They have the vice alternate. There's just some really awesome uniforms here, a really good variety, and just awesome design with the uniforms. So it would feel really cool to build this team up into a juggernaut and be able to strut out there against some of the top teams in the nation, just proving why this Florida team belongs. Their stadium isn't too bad either, so there's some really solid qualities here that make Florida International a really nice team to build in Dynasty mode. The second team that's going to be on this list is not on this list because of their jerseys. Unfortunately, I feel like some of the uniforms for Hawaii just aren't very good within this game, and they're missing some of their best uniforms of all time. So you're limited on that aspect of things, but playing with Hawaii, you get to actually play in that Pro Bowl stadium. You get to fill out a legitimate giant stadium, which is something that can't be said for a lot of the other teams within Dynasty mode. In College Football 25, there really aren't a whole lot of bottom-end schools that can claim a stadium with the capacity of Hawaii, and so it really feels like when you start to get good with this school, you are a top-end school because of that stadium filling out as things progress, and it just feeling like a real true big-time college football environment. So I almost always recommend Hawaii to people that are looking for this type of a dynasty within a college football game. Temple is on this list for basically every reason that I've given in the build-up to revealing these teams. Their uniforms are pretty solid. I think they're some of the cleanest red and white uniforms within the game. Now, they don't have any crazy combinations or anything, but they're just very sleek looking in my personal opinion. They're not going to blow anybody out of the water with the options that you have here. However, you do have a really solid stadium. They actually have some pretty solid recruiting capability. The vibe here with Temple is just really, really solid, and it presents a really awesome build. We've had some people build Temple within our various dynasties, and they've made them an awesome juggernaut of a team. It's a very awesome build in Dynasty mode that I couldn't recommend enough to you guys. And the next one on this list, of course, has to be East Carolina. East Carolina is awesome for a couple of different reasons. One of the most important of which is the really cool uniforms that you have with the chrome helmets. The chrome purple helmets are just awesome in my opinion. And I know some of you out there might not like the purple and yellow. As an LSU fan, I love it. A lot of the people that I play with love the East Carolina uniforms. they just have some really, really solid combos here. Maybe not one of my favorites on the list, but the availability of the different combos that you have with this team is actually pretty exciting if that's something you care about within Dynasty mode. And they're actually as well one of the teams that has a pretty solid college football stadium that kind of feels right whenever you build the team up in the long term. Next on this list, we cannot forget about Kent State. They come in as one of the lower overalls just in the game in general. And if you like blue and gold combination, if you're a West Virginia fan, Michigan fan, whatever it might be, they have some really, really awesome uniform combinations as well. Some of their helmets are really cool. If you're a fan of powder blue, they have a really beautiful powder blue jersey. They have a really awesome slate gray jersey. They have all yellows. They have everything you could possibly want as far as uniforms are concerned with this color combination or this color palette. I love playing with Kent State within this game simply because of the uniform capabilities that you have. And honestly, this is one of the teams that scored the highest for us because their stadium is solid, the vibe here is solid, the uniforms are solid, the pipelines are not the worst in the world, so you can actually turn this team into an awesome dynasty within college football 25. And of course, how could we make a video like this without including Army and the capability of building Army into a powerhouse of a football school? Not that they're not already really solid at what they do, but you can expand upon that for sure as far as gameplay is concerned. Now that they have updated and included more uniforms, they have some really solid alternates in here as well that are really fun to play with. My personal favorite is just their base alternate uniform with the gray. It's just such a clean look with the color combination, and honestly, there are no slouches in the other departments either. Their stadium is kind of cool. It is not on the top end of the teams on this list, but this team grades out really well as a long-term dynasty team. You guys have probably or might have seen in some of my earlier videos, this is one of the teams that I got some of the coolest players within dynasty mode so far this year. This was the only team I've ever gotten a 100 speed player with. I got like a 98 speed quarterback with this team, and just phenomenal dynasty build up with this team. It was one of my favorite ones I've done so far, and it's only better now given the uniform updates. And kind of sticking with the military theme, I'm picking UL Monroe on this list specifically because of the Warhawk jerseys that they have. The Warhawk uniform is just crazy nice. I think the helmet is by far and away one of the best within the game. I think that the jerseys, just the uniform combo in general is one of by far the best uniforms within the game. This uniform combo alone makes it worthwhile personally for me to do a dynasty with this team. That is one of the craziest uniform combos in a sports game that I've been privileged to play with. So, you know, there's that aspect of it, but they also aren't slouches in terms of their other ratings as well. They graded out pretty solid on this list. They do struggle in some areas as far as their team grades are concerned. And as you saw in terms of overall here, they are one of the lower overall teams on the list with only a 69 overall offense. So it is quite a challenge, but there's a lot of people out there that I know will be looking for something like that. So having some of those redeeming qualities goes really well with a long-term challenge if you're looking for that in college football. The one that I'm actually doing currently, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, is UTEP. I like UTEP for all of those reasons I've listed so far. I really like their logo. That's something I haven't brought up a whole lot with some of the teams so far. Logo, especially when it's on the helmet and the logo, because it pops up so much within Dynasty mode. It's just something that's nice to have a visually appealing logo, and I think there's something cool about UTEP's logo. It's just, it's simple, straightforward, but it's very unique. In my opinion, I think it's a really solid logo in comparison to some of the other ones, and they really pulled me in with the orange. The all-orange uniform, just absolutely awesome as their home uniform. And then some of the other combinations that they have here, too, are really cool. I think that the blue and orange color scheme just goes really well. I'm already a fan of the blue and yellow, the purple and yellow, and so orange and blue not too far off. I think that color scheme, for some reason, it just speaks to me. I think it's one of the best color schemes those colors all kind of similarly within the game. And then they also grade out with one of the better stadiums within this game. I think UTEP has one of the cooler stadiums that I've used so far with these types of build teams. And so just from my experience so far, I would highly, highly recommend trying them out. And not too far off in the alphabet, I like the potential of doing a UConn Dynasty. They have pretty solid uniforms as well, but that's not the main draw, in my opinion, for doing a UConn Dynasty. I think the coolest thing about doing a UConn Dynasty is that they start out independent, and so you have a lot of flexibility there. You could start off running an independent schedule, or you could come up with some type of a storyline to place them into a conference, and you have your choice of all of the different conferences in the game because you start out independent. So you could come up with any number of storylines to get you into whichever conference you think would be cool for that dynasty mode. You could do so many different things with this team. They have a decent enough stadium. They're not on the low end on that side of things. And I just think the overall vibe of doing a UConn Dynasty and building them up to be a football school has so much potential within Dynasty mode, and I look forward to at some point getting to a UConn Dynasty. I haven't had the chance to do it yet, but I think that that's on my short list for if we do any new leagues in the near future. And last but not least, on the screen here, you can see Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan is a really interesting candidate because if you're looking for one of those cool college football fields / stadiums, they have a pretty solid environment there. The gray field is really unique. I know that there are other solid ones within the game. There are other really cool ones, but Eastern Michigan is one of those teams that would come out of nowhere if you were building them. It'd be really cool to build them up. They're really not known for a whole lot as far as college football is concerned, and you could really build them up. Really, the main draw here is going to be the unique field that you could utilize. You could become a Boise type of a team where you pretty much run a conference and you have shots to compete for titles now and again by building really good teams. I'm not going to personally claim to like a whole lot of the other qualities. I'm not a fan of green. I'm not a huge fan of the uniforms personally, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that are fans of those colors and would actually probably like some of these uniforms. I mean, as far as that color scheme goes, they're not the worst, in my opinion. There are definitely worse ones out there. They're serviceable. I would play with a team like this, even though I don't like that color scheme. So that does make a difference for me. I'm curious to hear what you guys would think down in the comment section below. Let me know in that comment section, are there any teams that you would specifically put on this list based off having a really cool stadium that you could build up, based on having good pipelines kind of for a bottom end team, based on having really good uniforms or a good vibe or any of that type of stuff? I'd be curious to hear down in the comment section below. And have you done any of these teams in Dynasty mode, and how did those dynasties go? Let me know all that information. As always, please leave that feedback that I asked for. Like I said, a comment, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.